Hi everyone, my name is Nataman Penpon. I have 15 years of working experience as an IT auditor, IT consultant, IT security management, both in banking industry and in Big Four companies. Today, I would like to present the IT risk management from strategy to automation, presented by Authoritas and in collaboration with Vanta, the software as a service for compliance, governance, and security. So today we are here to discuss how organization can evolve IT risk management from a fragmented manual process into a strategic automated capability. This session is powered by Vanta and presented by Authoritas. We are focusing on helping business turn security and compliance into a growth enabler, not just a cost center. So let's begin. The agenda today we will introduce first what is the IT risk management and what are the framework related to the IT risk management like NIST, ISO, COSO, COBIT, FAIR, and OCTAV. Also, risk management process, the 5-step life cycle, the Vanta platform, how automating GRC with continuous monitoring and AI can help you automate IT risk management function in the company. And we will also present an industry use case to tailor application for software as service for fintech, healthcare, and retail industry. Implementation, we let you know what is the 90-day roadmap and the success matrix. And with the partnership between Authorities, Trust, and Vanta, we provide the value proposition and service offering. What is IT risk management? So this is about protecting the business value, ensure the confidentiality, integrity, availability, and resilience of the system and data. It's not just an IT function, it's a business discipline that enables safe growth. So therefore, call action, identify, access, treat, and monitor continuously. The key shift here is from periodic risk assessment to a continuous control. So what is the cost of ignoring IT risk? So without a proper management, monitoring, and reporting, the loss can be significant. So on average, a database costs nearly 5 million and it takes over 270 days to identify without automation. More importantly, 70% of breaches involve human factor, which means this is not just a technical issue, but an organization one. The key takeaway is reactively security is too slow and too expensive. The key IT risk category, if you can see here, in order to manage IT risk effectively, so we need to understand the full universe. So we are looking at the cyber threats, the compliance exposure, operational failure, third-party risk, data privacy, business continuity, and strategic alignment, leading the organization to this not as a silo, but as a unified risk landscape. Framework for IT risk management. There are several frameworks that are being used nowadays. So I'll go one by one and let you know what are the intervention or what can really apply from the individual framework like NIST, RNF, ISO 27005, COBIT, and FAIR. NIC risk management framework or non-MF This one provides a comprehensive life cycle approach from system categorization into continuous monitoring. It's particularly strong in regulated environment, large enterprise, end-to-end governance, and the key strength is integrated into the system development lifecycle, not as an afterthought. There are 7-step lifecycle for NIST risk management framework, starting from prepare, categorize, select, implement, assess, and authorize, and continuous monitoring. So to ensure that the end-to-end framework is here to have a continuous monitor and always have an improvement into all the process and system. ISO IEC 27005 overview. This one provides guidance for information security risk management, ISRM. So it supports general concepts specified in ISO 27001 and designed to assist the satisfactory implementation of your information security based on the risk management approach. This one is actually being used widely globally, and it emphasizes in the flexibility, continuous cycle, and the integration with the ISMS or Information Security Management System. So you can think of this as the how-to layer behind the ISO compliance. Let's have a look at the ISO 27005 process 4. So it will begin with contact, establishment, risk identification, risk analysis, risk evaluation, risk treatment, with acceptance, communication model. And the end of this process is actually a layer behind the ISO compliance. COSO EIM frameworks. This is the enterprise risk management integrating with strategy and performance. The COSO EIM framework 2017 emphasized that risk management is not a function that sits in isolation, but it's actually an integral part of setting strategy and driving performance. It focuses on culture, capability, and practice that organizations integrate with strategy setting. So this one is actually connect the risk to strategy, performance, and governance. This is particularly relevant for board and executives who are looking to align risk with business objectives. COBIT 2019 framework. This one, the COBIT bridges the gap between IT operation and business goal. It helps clearly separate governance and management to ensure the IT investment are aligned with business value delivery. There are 5 core domains. For example, EDM, iterator like monitor, APO, align, plan, organize, BAI, build, acquire, implement, and DSS, deliver services support. FAIR, methodology overview. FAIR is a unique because it quantifies risk in financial terms. Instead of high, medium, low, it answers what is the potential loss in dollars? What is the ROI of mitigation? This is extremely powerful when communicating with CFO and boards. Octave method. Octave takes an asset-based, business-driven approach. It focuses on critical assets, organization contact, internal ownership. It's particularly useful for organization building internal risk capabilities. Let's have a look at the framework comparison matrix. You have to select the right approach for your organization risk appetite and risk profile. In reality, most organizations does not choose just one framework. They combine them. For example, NIST for process, FAIR for financial quantification, ISO for certification. The key is align framework choice with regulatory requirements, business objective, and organizational maturity. Choosing the right framework. So on the left is the key decision criteria. You have to look at the regulatory that you have to comply with. What is your business objectives? The quantitative needs, like does the board require financial loss estimate or is a heat map sufficient? Resource maturity, like do you have team and the data to support complex modeling? Section 3, IT risk management process. So effective risk management follow 5-step cycle. The first one is to identify, the second one is to assess, the third one is to evaluate, the fourth one is threat, the fifth one is monitor. This is not one-time exercise, it's a continuous feedback loop. To identify is to define a scope and contact, like what are the critical assets, the system, department, enterprise, stakeholders, and map the asset and the data flow together, and doing the profile of the risk and vulnerabilities that may have to the asset, and collect the risk inputs, form incident logs, audit finding, and so on. Assess is to analyze, to quantify, and qualify, to assess the likelihood and impact that the list may have, to assess the inherent and residual risk, and to leverage the FAIR methodology to quantify in the financial terms for better decision making. Evaluate, prioritize to identify the acceptable level of risk against business objective, like define the risk appetite and threshold, to do the heat map and rank backlogs, and to do the treatment decision and criteria, to define the appropriate response, mitigate, transfer, avoid, or accept based on the cost-benefit analysis. Escalation and ownership, to assess the clear ownership for each risk and define escalation paths. Threat and response, like what are the risk treatment method that you use, like to mitigate it, to transfer it, to avoid it, or to accept the risk. Monitor and report. You have to do the monitor and define the key risk indicator, key performance indicator tracking into individual exposure. And have a regular report to the executive and management. Actually, modern organization, they are moving to real-time validation and continuous control monitoring or the automated alerts. And this is where the Vanta become critical because the Vanta have it all. We come to the most important section, section 4, Vanta platform, what Vanta risk management can provide to the company. Vanta actually unify the risk compliant vendor management in a single platform. So instead of spreadsheet fragmented tools, you get a centralized risk register, automated evidence collection, real-time monitoring. This transforms risk management into a living system, not just a static report. The risk register becomes a single source of truth. Everything is tracked in one place, like risk scores, owner, treatment status, and it updates dynamically as your environment changes. Continuous monitoring. This is the key difference, teacher. Instead of point-in-time audit, vendor provides real-time control validation, immediate alerts, drift detection. So you move from reactive to proactive risk management. Reporting and here's the risk register screen of Vanta. You see the risk scenario, approval, category, inherent risk level. This is a real-time update. Continuous risk monitoring. You see the live inside immediate notification. The reduced control drift, the elimination of the blind spot features. This is 24/7 monitoring. Reporting and analytics. This feature of Vanta can help you drive the decisions makings. So Vanta provides heat maps, trend analysis, board-ready reports. So enabling leadership to understand risk in the business term. Risk mitigation planning. In the risk mitigation planning workflow feature in Vanta, execution, everything is fully automated. Tasks are assigned, tracked, integrated with the tool like Jira. This significantly reduces the time to remediation. Vendor risk management function. In Vanta, we also have vendor risk management function. It actually help you extend visibility into vendor, third party, supply chain, so turning vendor risk into a continuous process, not a checklist. So we have the connected finding, link vendor security finding to the inherent risk scenario, streamline reviews, automate security questionnaires, and access vendor onboarding. Continuous monitoring, enabling ongoing monitoring of the vendor security posture, not just an onboarding. Third-party integration, seamlessly integrate third-party risk data into your central risk register. Customize your risk program. Every organization is different, so Vanta allows you to customize risk model, scoring, taxonomy. So the system adapts to your business, not the other way around. In this slide, you show that you can edit the risk level. So it's fully configurable. You can change, adjust, customize the field, multiple register, create separate register for different teams like IT, finance, legal to match the operating model. Connecting risk to your GRC program. This is the GRC integration feature. This is where everything connects. The risks are linked to control, policies, evidence, creating a fully integrated GRC ecosystem. So it actually helps with the gap between risk compliance, gain unified visibility across the entire organization to create holistic single source of truth for all risk decisions. So you can see how issue control policy and vendor connected directly to your risk scenario. You can centralize the data to eliminate the silos and make informed data-driven decisions. Seamlessly integrated risk management with your broader GRC and security programs. And in the insight, you understand why behind every risk with the deep links to the underlying evidence. Automate your risk process. The biggest impact comes from automation. Manual work is eliminated, allowing teams to focus on analyze, strategy, decision making. You can set the recurring workflow to assess and review risk automatically. Also can stimulate approval to define clear ownership for validating treatments and risk acceptance. Seamless integration can import existing risk register and map them directly to Vanta control. Yes, come to the function Vanta AI agent. AI can take it further. With Vanta AI, the policy can be generated instantly, controls are mapped automatically, and the risks are proactively identified. So this moves organization to predictive risk management. Use case. This is the single source of truth where it comes to the executive risk dashboard. You can see that there is a risk report, the heat map, bar chart showing ownership, compliance readiness, showing the accountability for its risk defined, and that enable you to track everything and to monitor to ensure that continuous improvement. Industry use case, so actually risks are different in different business. So Vanta actually very flexible platform to adapt to uniquely regulatory landscape that like trade profile, compliance requirement, or of the diverse industry. If you are in software as a service or technology software house company, Vanta also provide this IT risk management platform. If you are fintech, you need to comply to the PCI GRBA security, whereas Vanta also provide the flexibility in healthcare, in e-commerce, manufacturing, professional service that have to handle client data and multi-framework. In software as service or the high growth tech company, there are like rapid change in scaling and compliance pressure, like have to meet SOC 2, ISO 27001, GDPR, the enterprise demand that require rigorous security questionnaire. There should have penetration testing and vendor risk management inside the threat, like fast onboarding or boarding cycle and board access privilege have to be managed. So relevant framework they have to comply our service here. What Vanta can help you to automate evidence collection across cloud service like AWS, GCP, Microsoft Azure. Vanta also help board provide the board ready risk dashboard to support fundraising due diligence. Vanta can also help do the control mapping to scale from one framework like SOC 2 to many ISO or HIPAA. Fintech. If you are in the fintech industry, you have to manage the financial data sensitivity, fraud risk, and regulatory scrutiny. The key risks are the financial data sensitivity and regulatory scrutiny. Vanta can help you quantify the risk modeling by translate the cyber risk into financial terms. Also, you do the vendor oversight in using our vendor risk management feature. Healthcare life science. Vanta can help mitigate the risk of vendor for PHI processes. Can help do the incident response readiness. Can help do the audits defensibility by providing the snapshots. Can do continuous HIPAA monitoring. In e-commerce and retail, Vanta can help the retail doing the third-party platform monitoring, doing the resilient operation tracking, the customer trust building, and automate the PCI evidence collection. In manufacturing and OT, Vanta can actually help this business sector to do the supplier risk assessment automation, doing the operational resilience monitoring, business continuity planning support, and unified IT OT assess tracking. In professional services and MSP, Vanta can actually help standardize control across our client and transparent client reporting and trust center. Using the fact that there are multi-register support like an A, B, C, or D. In risk program maturity, this one from ad hoc firefighting to optimized AI-driven resilience. You can see that in the optimized one, the tooling will be connected ecosystem, automation coming in like by leveraging the AI and machine learning, sales healing, and there is a predictive analytics. Here's come to the 90-day implementation roadmap. If you are interested to implement or buy the risk management service and platform from Vanta, we typically see the value within 90 days. The first 30 days is the baseline and assessment to define scope, as with baseline and identify the inventory and assets. The next 30 days is to implementation and automation that will map the control framework, configure automate tests, and integrate with the cloud software service stack. The milestone is to have the automated control within 60 days. The final 30 days or the day 90, this milestone is to have the audit ready by tracking and verify remediation, launching executive dashboards, continuous monitoring live, and end of the audit readiness assessment. It's the ROI metrics. So the impact, everything is measurable. The organization using the risk management feature of Vanta has a faster remediation, reduce the audit report, and lower the risk exposure. So this is not just a compliance, it's an operational, effective, and cost reduction value proposition. So if you are ready to transform your risk management, please book a consultation with us. We are free to discuss about your specific risk landscape and compliance needs. We also have the risk assessment to identify gap and design a tailored roadmap to your risk program maturity. And We will keep in touch with you on the ongoing governance to implement and automate your internal control system. So feel free to book a consultation with us. We will assess your current state and we help you move from manual risk management to a strategic advantage. To summarize, a risk management is not longer about protection. It's about enabling growth with confidence. Organizations that embrace automation and continuous monitoring will move faster, close deals quicker, and build stronger trust. So thank you, and will be very happy to take any questions. Thank you again for listening to my presentation. I'm looking forward to talk with you again.